Hey, architecture firm owners and emerging leaders. Get ready for unparalleled insight into the development of a world-class architecture firm and a worldwide organization driving the digital transformation of the design and construction industry. With Build Smart, the podcast that's changing how our profession operates. We share the incredible stories behind innovation in the building industry with my friend and co-host, Patrick McLeamy, FAIA, former CEO of the international architecture firm, HOK.
You know, Yamasaki's office or firm lasted during his lifetime. And when he passed away, I think that was the end of the Yamasaki office. Helmut did not want that. He wanted a firm that would live out and grow beyond the founders.
In Season 1, discover the untold stories behind HOK's meteoric rise, from 150 employees in St. Louis to a powerhouse with over 1,900 staff members and 27 offices worldwide.
You know, they weren't as polite as the Kojima people. That was just boom. And anytime you have a creditor, whether it's Kojima or the bank, that wants their money, unless you can raise money someplace else, you are out of business.
Bankrupt. And hold on tight for Season 2, where Patrick takes us on a new adventure as chairman of Building Smart International, shaping the future of digital transformation in the design, construction, and operation of built assets.
Ian Howell, Ken Harold, and I, Ken was my technical representative from HOK. The three of us took a tour of Europe of 5 cities in 5 days. Very busy time.
Simply follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Smart now and uncover lessons that will transform you and your architecture firm. Hey, architecture firm owners and emerging leaders. Get ready for unparalleled insight into the development of a world-class architecture firm and a worldwide organization driving the digital transformation of the design and construction industry. With Build Smart, the podcast that's changing how our profession operates. We share the incredible stories behind innovation in the building industry with my friend and co-host, Patrick McLeamy, FAIA, former CEO of the international architecture firm, HOK.
You know, Yamasaki's office or firm lasted during his lifetime. And when he passed away, I think that was the end of the Yamasaki office. Helmut did not want that. He wanted a firm that would live out and grow beyond the founders.
In Season 1, discover the untold stories behind HOK's meteoric rise, from 150 employees in St. Louis to a powerhouse with over 1,900 staff members and 27 offices worldwide.
You know, they weren't as polite as the Kojima people. That was just boom. And anytime you have a creditor, whether it's Kojima or the bank, that wants their money, unless you can raise money someplace else, you are out of business.
Bankrupt. And hold on tight for Season 2, where Patrick takes us on a new adventure as chairman of Building Smart International, shaping the future of digital transformation in the design, construction, and operation of built assets.
Ian Howell, Ken Harold, and I, Ken was my technical representative from HOK. The three of us took a tour of Europe of 5 cities in 5 days. Very busy time.
Simply follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Smart now and uncover lessons that will transform you and your architecture firm. My name is Mark R. LePage, and you are listening to EntreArchitect podcast, where each week I speak with inspiring, passionate people who share their knowledge and expertise, all to help you build a better business as a small firm entrepreneur architect. Today on the podcast, we're joined by Courtney Rombough, a licensed architect from Montclair, New Jersey, specializing in remodels and additions of old homes. With over 16 years of experience and a passion for innovative tools, Courtney and I, we're going to discuss the use of iPads and LIDAR scanning technology and outsourcing partners and all the things that she does to help quickly and accurately document existing conditions and get started with her projects sooner. So we're going to have an interesting conversation. Stick around. Welcome to EntreArchitect Podcast, Courtney Rombough.
Excited to be here.
Good to have you here. This is going to be fun. You and I have known each other for a long time. You've been a member of the EntreArchitect community forever. I can't even remember. It's been a long time. And so you're always sharing your knowledge with the community and working with other people. And so you and I bumped into each other at the AIA conference in Washington, D.C., and we started talking about, we were actually standing right in front of the Canvas booth at AIA at the expo, which is a LIDAR scanning service. And we started talking and you started sharing your process. I'm like, you should come on the podcast and talk about that. And so here we are. I want to share that information with our listeners and talk a little bit about the way that you do your work. But before we do that, I want to know more about you. When did you discover your passion for architecture and who or what inspired you to get started?
It was in high school. I took a drafting class, and high school was not that easy for me, but drafting seemed easier than all the other subjects. And I seemed to get it even more than most of the smart kids that did much better than me in the other classes. And I loved it. And I told my dad I wanted to be an architect, and he thought it was a great idea. So I applied to architecture schools. And yeah, it was great. In college, we were all like a fraternity. We were all super close, I'm sure.
Where'd you go?
Virginia Tech.
I love Virginia Tech.
I love it too. And then when I graduated, I immediately took an exam and failed it, and then didn't take another one for another 12 years. And I just thought I wasn't going to be a licensed architect.
So when you came out of architecture school, you took the exam right away, you said?
I took it within the first year because I had a friend that encouraged me. She was an Ivy League student and passed all of them within 6 months of graduating. And she was encouraging me to do the same. And I studied so hard for that first exam and failed it and was devastated. And then for the next 12 years, I just had it in my head, like, I'm just not going to be a licensed architect. It's fine. It's not for me.
What did you do after you failed the test? Where did you go and what did you do?
I continued to work at architecture firms in San Diego and then New York. And then I left architecture for a while and worked for a startup company, which is what led to my passion for technology and architecture.
Was it in the industry?
I was doing floor plans for an app that allowed you to control the heating and cooling in malls. So it allowed the janitor to control the heating and cooling and lights from his bed in his bathrobe. So I was drawing floor plans, but I was mostly in school for web design and UX and UI at the time. And then I met my husband. He was a professionally touring musician, and I moved to Lake Tahoe to be with him. There was no UX and UI in Lake Tahoe, but there was lots of architecture. So I found a female architect and worked for her. Yeah, and then I got engaged, and I spent the whole year planning my wedding. And when the wedding was over, I had nothing to do. And I was so consumed with planning the wedding that I was like, maybe I should study for the exams again. So I did. And it took me about a year and a half, but passed them all that time. And
Awesome.
It was my most proud moment, passing structures. Never thought that would happen. Most rewarding thing, being a licensed architect.
And so you got your license. Did you continue working for other firms?
Nope. I immediately started working for myself.
As soon as you were licensed?
Yeah, I had my first son. I moved back to New Jersey. And that's when I joined EntreArchitect, which was probably the reason I did it. I don't think I would have done it otherwise, thanks to you, Mark. And I posted on Facebook that I just got licensed and I was willing to help anybody with their house remodels. And 2 people from high school reached out to me. And then it never slowed after that. It just kept going and going. And
what brought you back to New Jersey?
My husband was touring nationally and I needed family help. Since we were going to have a baby, there was no way I could be out on the West Coast without any family around.
Yeah, that's exactly how my wife and I practiced for many, many years, with her mom helping us manage the kids, and it allowed us to do what we wanted to do and be able to be practicing architects.
Yeah, and actually my dad's house, the one I live in now, caught on fire about 10 years ago. And part of the reason I came back was to help manage the rebuild of it. And we redesigned it as a 2-family. So now we live here with my dad. And it's great because my husband still tours. He still plays like 6 nights a week sometimes. And it's great to have my dad to have dinner with and help with the kids.
That's great. So how long have you been practicing in New Jersey?
Since 2016.
And you do additions and alterations mainly?
Yep. Additions and remodels to old houses.
Old houses. So specifically old houses. So your brand is built on doing additions and alterations to existing old homes.
Yes.
What drew you to that? Was it the market, or was it that was what you were interested in?
I had been trained in residential, which was unique. Most architects are trained in commercial and retail. So I had the residential experience. I didn't really have any other experience except residential. So it seemed like people need, especially New Jersey. You're familiar with Montclair, New Jersey. It's
Yeah.
just all old houses. And New Jersey is,
Right.
New Jersey and California are the two states that you need a licensed architect to do anything, take down any wall, any new electrical, anything. So yeah, there's so much work here. It's great.
And a lot of old homes. So it's great work to do because you get to work on old homes and make them new again.
Yeah. And lots of money flowing from New York City where people are very high powered jobs and
Yeah,
don't have
Montclair is
to.
less than an hour from Manhattan. So it's,
Yeah, it's 11 miles.
yeah. So how did you get interested in technology side of architecture?
Another architect that's in the EntreArchitect group, Tom Reynolds, and I shared an office for a little short time. And he suggested Canvas to me. And I was just willing to try anything to make my business more efficient. So I tried it and it was great. That was about 5 years ago. It was not nearly as accurate as it is now. So I had to take a lot of backup measurements. Like sometimes things would be as much as 3 inches off. And now nothing's ever off, even like a quarter inch. It's so accurate now. It's crazy how far it's come in the last 5 years.
Let's go back to the basics of Canvas. Canvas is a brand name. The technology is LIDAR, right? A LIDAR technology using your iPhone or iPad.
Mm-hmm.
And it scans 3D scans, right? Of existing conditions.
Yeah, you need an iPad Pro to do it, not a regular iPad. And you stand in the house and you scan the walls like you're painting the walls, like you bring it up and down and get part of the ceiling and part of the floor, but you don't need the whole ceiling and the whole floor. And it knows what to get and what not to get. So it won't get furniture, but it will get HVAC equipment. It will get electrical meters, gas meters, and you can scan the outside also, which I will do if we have to go to the historical commission. But otherwise, yeah, it's incredible. You just get there's lots of different formats, but I get it modeled for me in Revit and sent to me in Revit.
Let's talk about that process. So you're in the house, you're scanning it with your iPad Pro, painting the walls digitally, essentially. You take that file, and what happens from that point forward?
Yeah. So when we first walk in, I go in with my assistant and I review the scope of work with the client while she immediately starts scanning.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done talking about the scope of work, I take laser measurements and photos of the important areas and sketch it. And when I get home, I upload the model, which is like 2 clicks on my iPad. And while it's uploading, I put all the photos into a Google Drive and put my sketches into the same Google Drive. And then I take a link of that Google Drive and put it into the Canvas app. So when the team in Canvas starts working on my project, they have access to all the photos and all important measurements and anything weird, like a weird wall thickness, or they have all that information in my Google Drive. And they do reference it. I know they do because the times I haven't done it, they're like, where's the information?
Yeah, well, it makes their job easier, right?
Yeah.
So you do the scans, but then you said that you also are taking measurements, laser measurements of critical areas. So
Yeah.
probably some overalls and some specific details, anything that has special conditions, probably checking those off with measuring tools.
Definitely kitchens. I do it because I've been doing it for 5 years. It's just part of my process, but I probably don't have to do it anymore with how accurate it is.
Yeah.
But it's good to know, like, if something gets messed up, I can, like, sometimes a wall gets like clicked and then shifted, and then I'm like, it's
Yeah.
weird. And then I can go back to the sketches to see, but it's probably not necessary to do it. The other important thing is ceiling heights. Canvas is not 100% accurate with ceiling heights. So I give ceiling heights of each floor, and then I give the thickness between the floor, which is usually somewhere between 10 and 12 inches.
And then you take all that information, put it into a Google Drive. You said you put it into the Canvas app. And so I'm assuming that when you are a customer of Canvas, there's a portal for you to sign in and have access to. Is that on the app as well as on the web, or is it just an app?
It is. You can access it from the iPad. You can just upload photos from your iPad into the app, but I like to have it all in a Google Drive because it's the same Google Drive I share with my team when they start working on it.
So Canvas essentially becomes one of your team members.
Yeah, they're a very important team member.
Yeah. So do you have a personal relationship with the people working there, or are you just sending information there and you get information back?
I've met Ben and Sarah at the conference same time I was hanging out with you, and they're great.
Yeah.
It was so cool because when I walked up, I don't know if I told you this part, I was like ready to like tell them my story and who I was. And they were like, you guys, it's Courtney Rombough. They saw my name tag. I guess I'm famous for being their biggest residential client.
That's funny. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm featured on their website. So Ben has talked to me about getting pictures for their website. But besides for that, it's mostly other people on their team that I'm talking to if there's an issue, which there rarely is. And they always get back to me immediately. They're so awesome.
How big is your team?
I have me, 3 people in Argentina, another woman here who's another mom that helps me with proposals and scanning, my structural engineer, and then another guy that helps me with detailing sometimes. So somewhere between 4 and 6.
So 4 and 6 local and Argentina?
Yeah, 3 of us are local and 3 are in Argentina.
Okay, so let's stick with the chronological order of what you're doing here, because I want to get to Argentina, but I want to get to Argentina in the right time because that's not typical as well. So I want to learn about that as well. So you put all that information in the app, send it off to Canvas, and then what happens?
And then it comes back anywhere between 3 and 7 days later, depending on how big the house is. And then I immediately send it to my team with the same instructions every time.
And it's coming back as a Revit file?
It comes back as a Revit file, but not in my template. So the next step is to set it up in my template. But when you open their file, there's instructions of how to do it right there. So it tells you exactly how to like grab it and then drop it into your template.
Yeah.
And works great.
Let's take a quick break to say thank you to our sponsors for their support of this episode. Architects, listen up. Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human who lives in this world and is going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way. I know this community of small firm architects very well, and I see many of you struggling. That's why I reached out to this episode's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote. And by filling out just a few questions, BetterHelp can match you with a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. There's a link in the show notes. It's betterhelp.com/architect. Just use that link, betterhelp.com/architect. Clicking that link helps support this podcast, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. So you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. If you need someone to talk to, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the show notes or visit betterhelp.com/architect. That's betterhelp.com/architect. Thank you to BetterHelp for supporting this podcast and for supporting our community of small firm architects. ARCAT's Spec Wizard is the tool that will help you save time writing specifications. Going through the manufacturer's specification line by line to find the right product leads to frustration and errors. And that's where Spec Wizard comes in. It's a free, patented tool that allows you to select products and options error-free and generate a 3-part specification in minutes. Go to arcat.com, that's ARCAT.com, and try Spec Wizard today. Please visit our sponsors today and thank them. Thank them for supporting you, the EntreArchitect community. So you send it back, they send it back to you as a Revit file, you send it off to your team, it gets transferred back into your template, and then what's happening from there?
And then from there, I take a PDF and I start marking up in Bluebeam of different options. So I'll make like 3 copies of the first floor with the existing on one side and the proposed on the other. And I'll do 3 options for the first floor and 3 options for the second floor.
And you're just sketching that by hand over PDFs?
Yeah, not by hand, but in Bluebeam with the mouse. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Although you could do it by hand if you have like a tablet. Yeah, and then I send those to Argentina and sometimes they model it right away. Sometimes we only sketch it in 2D with inspiration photos. but we will model everything eventually to show the clients the options in 3D.
Yeah.
And they're really fast and really good. It's a company called Better Pros that I found them through. It's an agency.
I was going to ask who it is. Better Pros is a friend of EntreArchitect's.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
They're great.
So how did you find them?
Through another architect friend.
So they recommended them. And that's your typical process. So you get this information back from Canvas. You send it off to your team in Argentina. Well, actually, you're doing your markups. And so your markups are basically schematic design ideas.
Yeah.
And you're sending it back to Argentina. Your team in Argentina then takes your sketches and turns them into versions of Revit files to be able to present to your client.
Yep. And then it's just a cycle of us getting it to a place where I can present it to my clients. They give me feedback. I give it back to the team. Or usually Melly is on the call with me if it's a Zoom meeting. So she knows immediately what she needs to do.
And is that somebody in Argentina?
Yeah.
Or is that yours? Okay.
That's my highest girl in Argentina.
Yeah. So the people in Argentina, they are permanent members of your team. They're just in Argentina.
Yes. And Melly was at the conference in Nashville with me.
Got it.
And so we go back and forth however long it takes to get through schematic design phase 1. And then we do the same thing through construction documents, electrical plans, lighting, structural, all that stuff. And they do all the production work. I don't do any production work anymore. I just mark stuff up and meet with clients and contractors.
I can hear the listeners right now writing down Better Pros. Canvas, Better Pros. Canvas, Better Pros. They're like, what did you just say? You work all alone. You're just doing the fun stuff.
Yeah, it took a little while, but I'm very lucky. I get to work out every day now. The healthy architect thing really inspired me at the conference. And it's important to have a little time to take care of myself and have this team to help me do that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So you send it off to Argentina. You go back and forth with your team. Sometimes your team member in Argentina, who's it same time zone or just slightly off?
1 hour off sometimes.
1 hour off. Yeah. That's one of the benefits of South America and Central America is that they're often in the same time zone as we are, rather than going to India or somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea that they are a permanent member of your team. So, you essentially have, like you said, a 6-person team, but, you're working from home, doing the other things that you also want to do.
Yeah.
So you work with the client, present to the client, and then what happens from there? You get your schematic design back, you're presenting it to the client chooses one, and then what do you do from there?
Yeah, after they choose an option, we get it exactly how they want it. And then we go into the 3D views if we haven't done that yet. So they can be like, let's put the dishwasher over there. Let's switch the pantry and the refrigerator. And then I take a payment and then we go into phase 2, which is all the technical stuff that they'll need to get prices from contractors and submit for a permit.
All right. And then in terms of contractors, are you working with contractors that you work with all the time, or are you bidding it to different people each time? And are you bidding the work, or are you working with contractors up front?
Yes. There's about 5 medium high-end contractors and 3 high-end contractors I work with. So I get a sense from the client if they want high-end or medium high-end. And then I recommend the top 3 that I think would be best for them, but then I also give them the rest of the list in case they heard from their friend that Mike was good, and then they can refer to my list and say, okay, Courtney at least doesn't hate Mike. Went okay.
And then the client chooses who they want to bid out to?
Yes.
That's good. So that way it's their choice and who's working with you.
Yeah, and I do put a disclaimer at the bottom when I tell them the contractors saying like, things can change. This is only based on previous experience with these contractors. I'm not responsible if something goes wrong.
Yeah. And then they are bidding it out. So you're getting your 3 bids, and then the client chooses which bid they want to proceed with?
Yep. And then at that point, I print 4 more full-size sets, sign and stamp them, and give them to the contractor. And he submits them to the town for a permit. And then a month later, they can start building.
And then during construction, are you working construction administration on your projects?
I say that I'll do 5 site visits. So I take a $2,000 deposit at the beginning, and then I bill against that $2,000 deposit during construction. And if I never hear from them, I do give it back, even though that's painful to do. But I almost always have to do something during construction, whether it's usually writing letters to the town and site visits and always changes.
Yeah. It sounds like a great system. Do you use any other technology or tools or procedures that might be interesting to our listeners?
Yeah. The 2 that Melly, who's my main girl in Argentina, introduced to me this year was Asana, which I know a lot of people know about Asana. And It's great. But the one people don't know is Figma Fig Jam. Have you heard of this?
No. It
She just,
sounds like a fake tool.
she just told me about it. It's free.
So Figma Fig Jam, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just click on your board and a big whiteboard opens up. So what I do is when I am ready to give them a task, I put it in Asana, and Asana will let you click to get a link. And then I bring it over to Figma and I hit paste, and then it pastes a box in it on our to-do list. So at the top of the list, it's like things Courtney has to handle. And then it's like my team priority 1, my team priority 2. So things keep moving back and forth. As soon as they send something to me in Asana, they move it up to my category. When I check it, I move it back down to their category. But it's so easy just to like click the link for the task. And in Asana, I upload the PDF that's marked up in Bluebeam. Bluebeam has also like changed my life. And it's also just a note about what's coming next, what this is all about.
So are you the project manager, or is your team in Argentina the project manager? Who's actually managing the process, not with the client, but with the project?
Both Melly and I are. We're a team, but the two guys under her, it goes through her.
Yeah.
So anything they do goes back through her to get to me. It's pretty good by the time it gets to me,
Got it.
because she knows what she's doing
And she's telling you what you need to do
all the
to
time.
keep the project moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
she's always like, we're a little light on work. Can you figure something out for the next 2 days or something?
Yeah.
And I did, which is good because I never would have realized that unless she tells me that.
And they're full-time with you. They're not working with other people, or are they?
I think the two guys are. Melly is not.
So she's dedicated to you, and then she has a team below her that multiple people are working with, probably.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Very interesting. I love hearing your story and your process, because you are a small firm. You're a sole practitioner, essentially a sole practitioner with a team. Well, you do. You have one employee local. They're all independent contractors.
Yeah, Susan here, she only works probably 2 or 3 hours a day. She's a mom, full-time mom.
Yeah. So I love that you have put together a studio and a system that lets you do pretty much any project that you'd want to do, right? Because if you wanted to do larger projects than you could just expand the team to do that. It's just a matter of getting that work and having the experience to know enough how to design it. But it's interesting to listen to how you work with both technology and teams to really leverage you.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing because, as you know, I'm back in a mastermind group now. And when
Yeah.
I was in a mastermind group in 2017, I had no clue what was going on. And horrible thing happened with a client right before I had my second son, that she wrote a horrible thing about me on Facebook, like 3 paragraphs long, because she didn't like the contractor and I had recommended him. And it was awful. And like, thank God I had Jefferson's group at the time to get me through that and like help me figure out how to make a profit and all these beginning steps. But it's so crazy coming back now with having a team of 6 people and having come so far in the last 6 years.
Oh, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, it's great. So helpful. Just wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your story and your process. I think that it will inspire many, many listeners who are starting their firms or working through their firms now. And maybe some of them are a little afraid of technology or afraid of working with teams offshore. To hear how you've set it up and how successful it's been for you is very inspiring. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, glad to spread the word.
Before we wrap things up here, I would love to get your answer to my final question. What is one thing that a small firm architect can do today to build a better business for tomorrow?
I have so many things, but the main 2
Yeah.
would be join a mastermind group with EntreArchitect and read Profit First. Those
All right.
were so key. My business would not exist without those 2 critical steps.
I love that. And I'm not paying you. So I love that answer. I agree with you that the mastermind groups transform people, right? They help people build better businesses. And it's not just about the information that you gain, but the people who are there, who share their knowledge and work together to help one another succeed. It's a really special place to be. And Mike's book, Mike Michalowicz, is the author of Profit First. We'll have a link to that book on the show notes. So you can go to the show notes. We'll have a link to the mastermind groups too, if you want to go check out information for that. those two things definitely can help small firms be more successful. So thank you for sharing those. Her name is Courtney Rombough, and the architecture firm is Rombough Architecture. And you can learn more about Courtney at CourtneyRombough.com. It's ROMBOUGH.com. We'll have a link to her website on the show notes, so you can check that out. Also, before we started recording, you had mentioned that Ben at Canvas wants to offer our community a special offer. So do you want to share a little bit of information about that?
Yeah, if you have an iPad Pro, you have to do this. He's offering $100 off the first order until the new year if you put in the code Courtney24, Courtney all caps 24. So I would just recommend scanning your bedroom or your office just to check it out and see how it goes. See what the product's like.
All right. We may have to ask him to extend it because I'm not sure this will go out before the end of the year.
I'm sure he's willing to
And
do
so,
that.
yeah, so we'll have to talk to Ben and just ask him to extend it for a couple of months. Actually, I'll give him the date and we'll make sure that when it goes live, it's active. So it's Courtney24 is the code, and $100 off your first order with Canvas, and it's canvas.io, right? Is the URL?
That's correct.
Again, not paid for. It's not a commercial. It's just that we bumped into each other at AIA. You had a great story to share, and I wanted to invite you on to share. So, Courtney Rombough, thank you for coming by here and sharing your knowledge at EntreArchitect Podcast.
Thank you. Good to see you.
If you liked this episode of EntreArchitect Podcast, please share a link to this episode with a friend. Either just click the share button or highlight the URL and send the link to this episode with a friend, because that's how EntreArchitect has grown to serve thousands more architects just like you throughout the 10 plus years of EntreArchitect. That's how we've grown, architect to architect. So I would love for you to share this episode and all the episodes with one friend every week. We'd love that. And thank you to our sponsors for this episode. We don't have an episode if there's no sponsors. So thank you to our sponsors. Links to those sponsors, which you should go visit and click, and all the resources that we discussed today for this specific episode, they are all available at entrearchitect.com/podcast. Every episode that we've recorded is there, entrearchitect.com/podcast. Go click the links to the sponsors and say hello. EntreArchitect is a member of the Gable Media Podcast Network. You should go visit that at gablemedia.com. That is the next evolution of interactive media and resources for the AEC community. You can now earn continuing education credits for listening to select episodes of this podcast, EntreArchitect Podcast. Yes, AIA CEUs for listening to a podcast. It's there, and many other podcasts are there as well, and you can listen to all of them and get credit. Learn more about our program, Gable Members Program, at the gablemedia.com/members website. That's GABL media.com/members. And if you are a small firm architect, join us today at EntreArchitect Network. That is the worldwide organization for small firm entrepreneur architects. If you own your own architecture firm, you are an entrepreneur architect. You are an EntreArchitect. With weekly live group business coaching, we have business coaching there, monthly live business training with AIA CEUs, 2 a month, so 24 AIA credits per year, including 12 of those are HSWs. We have them in the membership. Business resources, all the resources you need to run your business, special session webinars, mastermind groups, and a thriving community of small firm architects just like you. Hundreds of architects are there waiting for you to join. So we provide the support and encouragement you need to succeed as a small firm architect. I know that you haven't been trained as a business person when you launched your firm. That's what we do. Come learn how to run a business at EntreArchitect Network. And today you can go join right now for free for 30 days at this link, entrearchitect.com/30 days. Will give you free 30 days for membership. Go check it out at entrearchitect.com/30 days, and I will see you there. Thank you for listening to this episode of EntreArchitect Podcast. My name is Mark R. LePage, and I want you to remember 3 words: love, learn, share. Have a great day.
Imagine earning continuing education credits while doing exactly what you're doing right now. Well, you can. Gable Media has revolutionized the way you earn your continuing education credits with a groundbreaking approach. Forget running around town and scouring the internet for credit-worthy courses. Fulfill your CE requirements effortlessly by listening to engaging podcasts just like the one you're listening to now. Our podcasts are designed to educate, entertain, and inspire, all in a user-friendly environment. But wait, there's more. Architects, Gable Media is also approved as an AIA continuing education services provider. Upon completion, we handle everything, from reporting your hours directly to the AIA to storing your certificates in your personal Gable Media profile for your self-reporting needs. So follow the link in the show notes and start earning your credits in the most innovative and entertaining way possible with Gable Media.
Attention architects and creative minds, get ready to supercharge your brand with Build Your Brand, the podcast that's unlocking the secrets of branding success for creatives. Hey there, it's Mark Arlepage, founder of EntreArchitect, and I'm inviting you to join my friend, architect marketing expert Jeff Eccles at Build Your Brand podcast, where he explores the captivating stories of the world's top brands and transforms their lessons into powerful moves for small firm architects and creatives like you. In Season 1, Jeff shares the thrilling tale of Southwest Airlines, where he dissects their journey to the summit and distills it into strategies tailor-made for you.
It's important to keep in mind that companies like Southwest compete in the real world, just like you, and face real-world challenges, just like you. You might be surprised at how similar those challenges are to the struggles that you grapple with on a day-to-day basis.
Don't miss out on your blueprint for success. Subscribe, tune in, and let's build your brand together.
You may have noticed that the very best brands in the world are also known for having somewhat unique corporate cultures. That's often the glue that holds everything together when they encounter those rough spots.
We don't do it because it inconveniences the passengers to whom we are primarily dedicated, the short haul, frequent flyer.
Follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Your Brand today. Remember, no matter the size, the journey's the same. Your brand's journey to the top starts here.